Hello everyone, today we're going to tackle time alignment with HOLMImpulse. So there's many ways how to do time alignment. One of the easiest ones is just take a tape measure and measure the distances, calculate the delays and just put them in the DSP and be done with it. But this is something a bit more sophisticated, more interesting, and I'm not a professional, so I'm just gonna try to show you and explain how it works. So this program, HOLMImpulse, is a free software. You can download it. It works in a similar way that JL demonstrates with the Tune software with their kits in Macs, but it's cheaper and the software is free as well. So it takes a impulse response, and with the impulse response, you can align the drivers with the highest precision that's possible, probably. So what do you need hardware-wise? I lay this out just to make it easy to understand and to see all the connections, because if you connect everything in the car, it's a bit difficult. So you need this thing, which is an audio interface. It's a fancy name for a sound card. You need an audio interface with minimum of 2 inputs. So 2 microphone inputs. One is for reference or a loop that goes back, and one for the measured microphone. So in my particular case, I'm using a Focusrite 2-channel audio interface and a Dayton XLR mic. It's a EMM6. And how does this work? So the program, the software, sends a signal into the sound card, and it goes through one of the outputs. So this is the output of the sound card. So the cable is spliced. One end goes via RCAs into your DSP and the amps, and the other, it's exactly the same signal, goes as a loop back into one of the inputs. So the signal that is sent through the software goes into the amps and into the speakers, and then through air from the speakers into the microphone, and the other one goes directly back into the sound card. And what it does, it basically calculates the difference between this signal that gets looped back and that signal that comes from the speaker. So basically, in theory, you have almost zero delay in electronics, and the delay that you have is the time that it takes from the speaker the sound to arrive to the microphone. And that distance, that time delay, is represented in this graph. So just to summarize, in order to make impulse response measurements, you need an audio interface with minimum of 2 inputs and a measuring microphone. Now, a big note, it doesn't have to be anything expensive or very fancy, because you don't need accuracy for that. All you need is the capability of measuring. So the Focusrite is a bit more expensive. This cheaper option would be Behringer, which is like 60 quid, so maybe like 80 up to $100 for the sound card. You can get it used for half the price. And Dayton mic, this is EMM, which is the cheapest the Dayton makes. Behringer has the same mic, similar mic for like $50 or £30. So basically all the kit, I got it for less than £100 used secondhand, and I can make all of these measurements. So you can do impulse response and you can do phase measurements. Okay, so this is the hardware. Now let's talk about microphone position in the car. So the main thing to note is that the microphone position is highly dependent. So you're gonna get different measurements with different mic positions. So the main thing is to try to put the microphone right in the middle where your head is. If your head is, it's like in between your ears. So what I do, I just sit down, I take some string and the tape, and I just stick the sticky tape here, and I have a string dangling on till one ear. the other ear, and I have the position right in the middle. Because if you will put the mic slightly on the side, slightly offset, the center image might shift to one or to the other side. Yeah, so you can try it. You can try it in different ways. You could put it in the middle. If you see that the center image is not where you want it, shift the mic like literally half an inch to one side or even less, quarter of an inch. Do the measurements again and see if that helps, because when you do the measurements, since you have all the measurements and you have your delays, you can write it down on a Excel sheet or piece of paper and have them, then do another set of measurements with a different mic position, save those delays again, and then you just put them in the DSP. And if one set of measurements give you a center image like somewhere here, try another set. It might be here, it might be there, and just try a few different things, yeah? So remember, microphone position is highly dependent, so it depends on the microphone position. Okay, so let's hop into the actual HOLMImpulse software. I did the EQ work. I set the crossovers. Everything is done in my system. So now it's about measuring the actual impulse response. So if we go to device and signal, we need to make sure that we have the correct input device, which is my Focusrite USB sound card, output device as well there. I don't play with any other settings here, just leave it as it is. So one thing we need to do is here you have all the measurements. I'm gonna try to do it live, so I don't know how long it's gonna take, but we'll see. I put some names here and I have the sub. I always start with the sub because the sub is the furthest away, so it's gonna it has to be a reference point. Yeah, so high pass, low pass, this is the signal that you are sending. I'm sending to the driver what is crossed at. So from 10 to let's say 150 hertz, because it's crossed at 70 at 100 at this time, so up to 150 hertz. And we're going to take the first measurement. Cool, so the measurement is done, and here you have the actual measurement. So if I go to options, this is the offset. So if I change this number, so it's not 4550, if I change this to, let's say, 5000, see, this offset is not on 0. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that when the subwoofer starts rising at this point, it has to be at time 0. So this is, I don't know what units are those. If I put, for example, 4000, see, it shifts to the other side. So I need to make sure that it's right in the middle. So it was, I think it was 4550. Yeah, 4550 is just here. Yeah, so this is the offset. Now I need to go to data and analysis. I need to make sure that time 0 is not detected, but time 0 is locked. So I'm gonna put 4550 here, and I'm gonna click use. When I'm done that, I'm gonna take another measurement just to make sure that time 0 is still locked. Cool, time 0 is still locked, is 0. Now I'm gonna go to my Midbass. So that's my DSP. I made sure that I unticked all the polarities, so they're all the same, and all the delays are removed. So let's mute the subwoofer and unmute the left mid-bass driver, which is C. So it's going to be this one, left mid-bass driver. Now I'm going to choose here left bass, enable, And so this is a previous measurement. We're gonna redo it. I'm gonna select from 40 because it's crossed at 70. So I want to include the crossover points as well. And it's crossed at 200, so let's put 350. Cool. And now we're gonna take a measurement. Cool, that's the measurement. For some reason, sometimes the measurement signal appears here. You just untick it, right click, and there we go. So this is, the blue one is the subwoofer, and the right one is my mid bass. So I'm gonna untick it, and I'm gonna zoom in a bit. There we go. So from here I can see that the 0 is here, and the mid bass starts rising from here, from this point, which is, if I look here at the bottom, it gives me the value in milliseconds. So that's 7, oh, let's say 7 milliseconds exactly. I'm gonna go to the DSP, and here I'm gonna put 7 milliseconds exactly, and I'm gonna take another measurement. And there we go. Here you go, is 7 milliseconds. Now it's at 0, the starting response. I'm gonna put the subwoofer for comparison. Yeah, looks good. Okay, now let's do the right mid bass. So I'm gonna change here, right mid bass. It's gonna be D. Right. So this is gonna be right bass. Take a measurement. Cool. So now you can see the green one. I'm gonna untick these. The green one starts rising at about 8 milliseconds. Okay, so I'm gonna add this to the DSP. So 1 millisecond difference. Let's put 8 milliseconds. Okay, let's take another measurement. Cool. Back to 0. Let's check both, left and right, and you can see they're out of polarity. So subwoofer, the first peak going up, on the left mid bass first going up, on the right first going down. So I'm gonna invert the polarity on the right, take another measurement. Cool. Now we have same polarity and starting at the same time. So here might be some phase issues. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so that's the bass. Now we're gonna go to the mid-range. Left mid-range. The mid-range is channel G. Okay, from mid-range, I'm gonna do, so it's crossed at 200, so let's say 150, and up to 3K, so I'm gonna put 4K. And take this. Okay, left mid-range, let's take a measurement. Cool. There we go. And as you can see, I'm gonna take the bass. This mid-range, let's zoom in. It starts at I wanna say 3.2 milliseconds. Let's add that to the DSP. 3.2. Let's take another one. Cool, starts at 0. Let's compare it with the Midbass. So the Midbass, you can see it's very small signal, but you can increase it if you go to options and this offset. Let's put 10 dB, a bit more. There we go. You can see that the Midbass as well is starting to rise at 0. If I zoom out, you can see the difference between a mid-bass impulse response and a mid-range impulse response. Okay, so we did left mid-range. Let's choose right mid-range. In the DSP, mute this, enable this. Okay, right mid-range. Let's take a measurement. Okay, we have a measurement. I'll click this, zoom in, and we have, I want to say 4.3. Okay, time GH 4.3 milliseconds. There we go. Let's take another one measurement. Cool. Let's compare both of them. There you go. Slightly different. If I zoom in, slightly different. So let's, just to make sure, remove, let's say 0.2. So 4.14. There we go. Let's try again. A bit too much. So this is the playing part. 20, bit by bit. Yeah, that's about right. So you can see these impulse responses are different, way different. And the thing is, I do have some phase issues with my mid-range. So I guess I will need some all-pass filters. But again, starts at 0, perfect. Let's go to the tweeters. Left tweeter, I'm gonna choose from 2K up to 20K. In the DSP, let's check left tweeter, take a measurement. Cool. I'm gonna take this. Oh, not this one. Okay, left tweeter, zoom in. And we have, let's say, somewhere here. That's 3.4 milliseconds. Let's add 3.4. Take another measurement. Cool. Now it starts at 0. There we go. Starts at 0. Cool. Now the right tweeter, the last one. Mute. Enable. Right. Let's take a measurement. Okay, where is it? Now it's somewhere here. Let's zoom in on this one. And it's, oh, that's going to be difficult. Let me put 4.7. So it should be similar to the mid-range. Mid-range is 4.2. What did I say? 4.7, yeah. So it is similar because they're next to each other. So 4.7. And these two as well. See, mid-range, 3.26. And tweeter, 3.39, because they're next to each other, so it's very, very close. Take another one. Cool. There we go. So this is a mess, but they tweeted, so that's fine. Starting somewhere at 0, something similar, yeah? So there we go, 0 tweeters. Then we have mid-range 1, mid-range 2 at 0, in phase. Mid-bass left, mid-bass right. Okay, so it's gonna be, the gain is different. Yeah, 0. There we go. Mid basses both start at 0 in phase, and subwoofer start at 0. Is it in phase? I'm gonna check. So this I will need to check with yeah, it should be in phase. So here on the top as well, if I remove the screen, here you can check the actual phase of everything. I didn't play with it. I will need to check this out. This is going to be maybe a next tutorial. But yeah, so this is how you do time alignment with a HOLMImpulse. And this is what you get. So it's a long video. However, it's the timer is 17 minutes. So it's like maybe with all the preparation, half an hour to do proper time alignment. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.